So I wanted to start with just a low light meditation. I didn't get a chance to do my second one of the day. So if you want to just close your eyes, start with the breath. Just allow ourselves to experience each breath coming in and out of the body, allowing the breath to help us anchor ourselves into the here and now, to come out of our minds and fully into this experience, fully into this body. And with each exhale, we're just letting go of everything that has come before this moment. And we're just surrendering and opening up to our greater yet to be. We're opening up to inspiration. We're opening up to guidance. We're opening up to revelation. We're opening up to insight. We're opening up to transformation. And if you have a word to set that intention with me, what you're opening up to in this session. So we're just open at the top. We're open-minded, open to receive the abundance and all the good that life has for us. Feel that opening, feel that receptivity, and just how good it feels to just be open to receive all of the goodness that life has for us. And so it is. Amen. So everybody, open to the good, open to the greatness. Look at Sean, you got your camera on today. Sean, you're not driving around?
No, brother, we are home today.
So, so good. So this chapter that we want to get right into it. What was it called? It's called. If you can know what it is, you can shout it out as I'm looking at it for it. Here we go. A plan of action, right? He who fails to plan plans to fail. Now, when I decided to go ahead and share this, as I was going through the book, I picked up the book and then I was going through the journeys. I was going through chapter by chapter, taking my journey. And when I got to the goals chapter. Around that time, I had already made the intention, like, okay, I need to share this with other people. And so I never read the following chapter behind, goals, plan of action up until recently. And I went over it the other day and reviewed my goals, and the goals were pretty much the same. Last week, I said that the one goal that wasn't there before was strong spiritual connection, but when I must have missed it in my notebook, because when I looked at my notebook and my original goals I wrote down back in July, it was there. So it wasn't like a new goal that sprung up. I had the same goals um, that I had a few months back, and as you change and grow and things change, your goals are going to fluctuate. They're never static. They're always dynamic. Everything moves and fluctuates. And this is a really cool exercise. Like, what are my initial options for reaching my goal of, right? So I'm just going to share with you what came up for me as I did this exercise. So, so what are my options for reaching my goal of after the 10 minutes of being with the vibration, being with the just, meditating. And one of my goals was I kept on hearing the word tip top physical health, right? And it was daily exercise, which is what I've been working on actually. It's really wild because that's been my main focus every day, to be able to check that one thing is to exercise every day and not miss a day. And a moderate diet, which is pretty obvious, and then healthy thoughts, you know what I mean? I was kind of, I didn't, that was one thing I was already doing, trying, I was kind of always already with the daily exercise and obviously the moderate diet, working on it as best as to my ability. But healthy thoughts was not something that I had written down, so I was kind of like, I had these goals, but I never did this exercise until the other day of what are my initial options for reaching the goals and looking at the different options, you know what I mean? And, So healthy thoughts, 6 a.m. wake up. I've been working on that and struggling with that for a few months now, actually too as well. And then also heard dancing and singing, and I just started taking vocal lessons again a few weeks ago. I'm on like yeah about a month back. I started singing lessons after many years of not doing that, taking classical and dancing has been kind of like I'm kind of like I've been doing some, but like I'm really been kind of like, that's like the next thing to kind of get into again as well. I've been working on a lot of different things. The other goals that I kind of heard was like a world-class teacher. And I'm like, what? Like, like what does this is something I didn't wasn't really surprised by the goal. And and kind of like there was a time in my life where I really wanted to be like that. Like that was really a thing that I really, many years ago, over 20 years ago, like that was something that I was really interested in, thinking that that's my life thing or life calling or whatever you want to call it. And then I just kind of like, I would say abandoned it, but I kind of put it by the waist, shelved it, let's say. Let's just say I shelved it, and shelved thinking about it for some time and just lived my life and did whatever. And here it is popping up again. And it was just, kind of like I'm not something I'm not even really interested in, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? But I'm listening to it, I'm writing it down, and like, well, what are my options for achieving this goal? Right? So it's just daily meditation twice a day. I'm already working on that, and daily writing minimum of 30 days. And it's funny because that's been also something that I've been working on, hit and miss. I was doing it for a while, and then I got off track. But to just have the clear indication of like, this is what you need to do. Just do this little bit regularly, right, to work towards your long-term goal. And then the other one, spiritual connection. I got, my option to meditate twice daily. Another goal that I had, that I was thinking about since July, since my birthday, was to write a book this year. And so I've been writing, what I mean, and I've kind of sent you some of my writings in an email. It's kind of like a daily meditation type of thing, but it's been like for the last 2 weeks. I think I don't think I've kind of gotten off track with the writing, but writing 30 minutes a day. So just simple, practical steps that I can take on a regular basis um, to activate. So I'm interested to hear what's going on with you guys. What came up,
So when's the book ready, man? When can we get our signed copy of the book?
Well, I got a year. I got a year. So I got a
Okay.
year minus 2 months because 2 months is already into the year.
All right.
It's July.
All right.
So we'll see. But you got to hold me accountable to that, to my writing. So I'm open to any feedback too. If anybody any feedback on just my process and what I'm sharing, putting out there, just so you can kind of reflect on putting your own process as well.
I'll share something.
Yes, Leo.
So yeah, some of you might know I'm a music producer and a part of a community called the Producer Dojo. And, again, this has all been really aligning, with the goal setting and things like that. So, wrote out a clear plan of action. And then I have a couple of mentors that I work with musically. So it was like a monthly thing, but I've ramped that up to weekly. I'm about to ramp that up to twice a week. And then, to succeed as a music producer, to output music, dedicating myself to watching at least one educational video per day, and then writing, at least having one writing session or mixing kind of session where I go into the computer and I work on music, once a day. Because, it's like, live the life that you want to live now, right? It's like, what's your ultimate goal? Well, what do you see yourself as? Well, I see myself as a touring musician and a producer. Well, what does a touring musician and producer and a DJ do? Music every single day. So, that obviously goes into whatever line of work or whatever your dream or goal is. It's like, you might be like 6 months to a year away from your ultimate goal or whatever, what have you, but like live it like it is already happening. Do the things on a daily basis that you would be doing in the position that you're trying to get into. And so that's been kind of my take on how to move forward. And so, yeah, again, this all just falls right in alignment with it. So really happy to be here. Thanks again for putting this together, brother.
Thank you, Leo. And that, what you shared reminded me of something. It's great, and it also reminded me. I met Dennis. I forget what his last name was, but he wrote the book "Think and Grow Rich: A Black Choice." And I just bumped into him in the hotel lobby many years ago, over 20 years ago. And I remember talking to him about that time about wanting to be a speaker, a public speaker at that time. He was just like, every day, talk every day. That was the one thing he told me even back then, to do it now. You know what I mean? Don't wait. Just every day practice that, thing. So he has a good, incredible story too. He walked into the office and the people, I forget what the person's name was, who Napoleon Hill had died, passed away, but the person, there was another guy, he was an insurance guy, really big insurance guy, and he wrote something, but he was challenged to write this book, Think and Grow Rich: A Black Choice, and they're like, we're not going to fund you. He thought that they were going to fund him and give him money. He's like, no, you got to go through the same steps Napoleon and them had to. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to make this stuff real. We're not just going to give you a check, you know what I mean, for you to write this book. You're going to have to go through the experiences like Napoleon. And he went and he interviewed like all the top African American, the wealthiest top African Americans on the keys to success, And he asked Don, what was the guy, Don with the big hair, the boxing producer, Don
King.
Don King. He asked him, he goes, what's the key to success? He goes, set yourself on fire and let the world come and watch you burn. He walked into the guy who was the originator of the BET enterprise, and he says, life is like a pulverizing stone, like when a grinding stone, it'll either polish you or pulverize you, depending on how you position yourself and align yourself to it. I just remember those key things that he said in his speech, when he gave that talk. So, but those two lines always stuck out to me. It's Don King,
Yeah.
set yourself on fire, let the world come and see you burn. I think it looked like his hair was always on fire. He had that flame.
Only in America. Only in America. Stuff like that.
So, anybody else? Hi, Marcy. You're on mute. I unmute you. You hit the wrong button. I can unmute you too, I think. Oh, there she goes. You there, Marcy?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there you go.
Trying to get it together. We
missed
couldn't
you
get it
last.
on the big
We missed you
computer
last
stuff.
week.
This is the last week?
No, we missed you last week. I know you had something going on last week.
Oh, we had a wonderful recording. I have to send you the link to doing the show at the Rotunda. It was a
Okay.
virtual with the drum group, me playing a little bass, and Jan and I and all the drummers.
Well,
Mom.
you send it to me. And the next time we have a class, which is our last class, I'll be able to show some of your video
Okay,
in the class.
all right. Sounds
And
great.
and you, if you have your bass ready, we're gonna get that finale for the last class. All right? You got your amp fixed?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I
Good.
got it fixed.
So what's going on for you? If things are still
Well-
blowing up for you, or what? Is the thing still
Well, actually, I'm still sailing off of Tuesday was Peace Day. Peace Day Philly. It's an organization that I've been with for 11 years, and every Peace Day, the 21st of September, there's the peace going all over the world, a prayer at 12 noon. So I was playing in the middle of Rittenhouse Square, Jan and I, and bringing people in, especially around lunchtime, and singing and playing and gathering the people that we need to send love to ourselves first. And the song that I love myself so much that I can love you so much. And then doing that, and then just singing. I'm just making up, the spirit just works through me when it comes to sending love to the hearts, to the people. So that was a really good high because of getting ready for the equinox. So making new goals for the fall, and then cleansing the body, the mind, and the spirit. I am still drifting on sailing on high, and I'm so glad that I'm with you all tonight, especially my baby. I love you so much. I'm sending you kisses.
Thank you,
And
Auntie.
everybody else.
Thank you, Marcy.
So that's been my thing. And my abundance since things have stopped for the unemployment, the money has stopped. And I love, we're on number one again. God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. This all providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me, the reality of me. So I've been saying that a lot today. And thank God for Ida, because I forgot, I was so much into meditation. I just remembered that it's our class today. And I got all my books. I'm in the bed and I'm reading and I'm journaling and just giving thanks. And you saying next week is the last class. Well, I suggest you to have something else going on for
There's
your
no,
future.
there's no endings. There's only beginnings, right? It's
I
always a
thank
new
you.
beginning. But you know, the funny thing that happened is I joined this group called EMM. It's Every Man's Mastermind, and they want me to go take them through the work too now. You know, so like there's another opportunity for me to do it again, back to back with finishing of this. So I think it's going to be open. I'll open it up.
What was that goal about being a teacher, a world-class teacher that you just had on that slide? What was
You know,
what was
it's
that?
wild because as soon as I started doing the work and getting with the meditation, all of a sudden these people in Delaware called me to come and speak, and then these people in Philadelphia called me and speak, and then I started doing, you know, right before I even started doing this course, you know, so I was able to invite the people in Delaware. So that's we have a couple people like Leo and Debbie and Lynn from Delaware and Joanna also from Delaware, and then you know, so things when you start opening up your energy frequency, things just start happening of their own accord. So it's interesting. So.
There's a word that I want to interject here because I'm hearing some people talking and it's really exciting and inspiring. The word that keeps popping in my head is the word consistency.
Yes.
Consistency is a discipline. And when I hear your goals, whether it's the singing and dancing, it's the fitness. One thing I did learn, it took me 52 years to figure it out, even though I've been an athlete in my heyday. It wasn't until recently that the word consistency, and I figured if I could dedicate 22 minutes every day towards physical fitness or singing, or actually both, but if I could dedicate 22 minutes every day, that little change after 6 months has reprogrammed my mind. So when I hear about your goals, which by the way are very awesome, because I think all of us can grab at one of those goals and say, hey, I have that one too. So and having a motivational team like this here is really awesome. But every time I think about it, I think about the word consistency. And the other thing that pops in my mind is that one day that we skip it, like maybe we're too tired and we don't do the 22 minutes, the next day we have this like image, this guilt. And at that point, I always use a remedy of accept it. Accept that I skipped or forgot a day of singing or a day of eating healthy or a day of 22 minutes of fitness. And I accept it. I harvest the good and I forgive myself. And then I step right back into it. So if I don't do that, then a week goes by before I'm working out again. So, or I'm going back into my recording studio to sing. So you got to accept that you forgot a day or you weren't motivated and jump right back into it. So I'm just want to share that with anyone who wants to listen, because we often forget, we don't forgive ourselves too quickly. And before you know it, a week goes by and you didn't touch anything with weights, or we didn't go into the singing studio. We didn't sing for the 22 minutes. We didn't dance. We didn't do all those things that we said we were going to do. Consistency, and that is the key. So I just needed to share that.
Thank you.
Amen. Amen. 1000%.
Thank you.
So I wanted to share something. I am not getting the plan of action coming through when I meditate. And I think eventually maybe it'll come in. The only thing I can think of why it's not coming is maybe I'm already doing it. I don't know. Because remember, I only had one goal that came through. But the other thing I want to say is that I am very much already, I really truly believe in taking inspired action, is what I call it. So like whenever my intuition says to do something, I do it. I don't question it. I do it. Even if it's inconvenient at that time, I just do it. And it's been working out for me very well. So I'm wondering if maybe that's why nothing's really coming in at that moment when I'm meditating. But then again, I've only been practicing this for just, I feel, a short time,
Yeah, I mean, I was also already doing a lot of the things that were like the option steps, pretty much there wasn't no option step that came, even though it was the first time me doing that exercise. They were all things that I've already kind of like intuitively like working on and doing, practicing every day and stuff like that. I have a cool, you reminded me, I have a cool story. Like today I received a treadmill, right? And I was busy in my basement. I was in my basement all yesterday for like 8:30 at night. And then all day today I was there, just constantly, working, removing mold and removing old drywall and things of that nature, and just a lot of, dirty work. And I had this delivery schedule. I was thinking of delaying this delivery. I'm like thinking maybe I'll just get it and set it upstairs because it's real dusty down there. I'm going back and forth now, but then it's going to be a real hassle to move this thing downstairs.
Yep.
You know what I mean? From upstairs. And these guys will put it down there now, and so I meditate. I got a chance to meditate before it came, and like in the afternoon, I meditated late today instead of the morning. It was in the afternoon, but I finally got a chance because I just woke up and got right into without the work that I was doing. And I asked in my meditation the yes and no signal, like upstairs, no. My bedroom, no. Downstairs, yes. I'm like, but it's dirty. Downstairs, yes. You know what I mean? So it was like clear. And then when I saw what they brought, how they brought it, I'm like, yes, this is the right place for it. And it worked out perfectly. But when you listening and being able to use the yes and no for the where am I going to put this? Is it my highest and wisest interest for me to have this upstairs? No. Is it my highest wisest interest to have them deliver it and put it downstairs in the basement? Yes. I'm like, it's dusty down there. I'm still cutting drywall and you know what I mean? I'm gonna be doing that stuff tomorrow. Put a sheet over it. Don't matter. Just put it downstairs right now. And it's perfect. And I was able to get my first run in 2 miles right before this class too. So it's very interesting how you can use that yes and no signal. I'm sorry?
I said congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. I got rid of a lot of the old equipment I had because the insurance has been new equipment for me. So I got out with the old, in with the new.
Yep.
That's what the fall is all about, Pankaj.
Huh?
That's what the fall is all about, the equinox.
Oh,
let
yes.
go of what isn't serving you and move forward with what is.
All right. So what's going on with you, Sean?
Oh man, talking about doing yes and no, I had a pretty amazing experience with that. I'm still working on like the actual signal. I don't really get a signal. It's more like a feeling. It's more of like for me, it's like you just like feel, like Joanna said, an intuition, like, yeah, that makes the most sense, versus if a no signal, I don't feel any different, if that makes any sense. But anyway, I had a big financial decision to make recently, and I was looking to purchase a new crypto initial coin offering, and I was part of this pre-sale, and I was debating on if I should even participate or not, and just a lot of head trash around everything that was going on with it. I meditated, I got pretty clear, and I just kind of asked, like, hey, like, I'm thinking about putting this amount in that. Is that the correct answer? And I got this overwhelming feeling of just like, kind of that like just do it feeling, right? I'm not sure if you guys, I can't explain how that feels, but and I did it, and on the initial opening of the coin, I 5x my money on the first day. I got my original profits out, and then 2 days later I took some more out as well. So it was just a success all around, and it's just, I don't know, I just feel like I'm growing. I'm doing the abundance book and the meditations consistently, and I just feel like just overall, like I'm just my level of consciousness is just rising, and I'm able to make clear and better decisions. and I'm able to make better decisions very quickly in the moment versus like belaboring over if I should do something or not. So I just wanted to share that I had a financial success, but that is all part of wealth consciousness, right? So yeah.
That's great. And that's a great thing of just like feeling that something's the right thing to do, and just that feeling of, yes, do it, go for it, and to listen and to be able to do it. Put your money in, make it, and then pull your money back out, your original investment, and still have that money working for you. But you didn't ask, like, should I share this with Pankaj or anything like that? You should. It's all good. It's all good. Next time.
It was
sharing
pretty-
stuff like that in my class without telling me. No, I'm just kidding.
You can still get in, thank God. I'll tell you about it tonight.
After the 5X, right? Who cares now, man? Come on. No, I'm just kidding.
It actually dropped back down, so you can actually get in at a very low price now.
All right,
So,
we'll talk tomorrow then. We'll talk tomorrow.
all right, deal.
Okay, Kaz, you better get your yes or no signal. Did I invest with that money?
Should I invest with Sean or not? Yes
Yeah.
or no, right? Debbie Lynn, who's coming up?
I'll share.
Yes, Debbie.
So yeah, everyone's so positive. It's beautiful to hear. I love all the energy. It's awesome group of people. It's inspiring. I can't say that this week has been that great a week for me. I was really high on the yes and no and the asking questions and feeling good about that. And then I dropped off of that for this past week, where, I was hearing Pankaj saying, oh, don't worry about it. Just do your rhythm. Look at the rhythm. That's all you need to do. I'm like, okay. So I did that religiously, but I really do believe the interaction, the going deep and the really listening, that's where you make strides. And so I feel like I need to get back on that track and actually do the powerful listening and talking and action steps. So thank you for that tool. And what else? Yeah, just a little, I've been doing the abundance, phrases every day. Finally, I got through number 10 and now I'm on like 12, I would say. So that's good. I broke a barrier on that and I feel good about it. I still I do it on my phone. And I listen to it as often as I can. Yeah, there's a little bit of a veil around me right now for whatever reason. I don't feel so powerful for whatever reason. And I don't know whether it's just because I listen to a lot of people that talk about doom and gloom to a certain degree and like speaking your truth in a world that's a little chaotic. So I guess, I'm not sure how to snap myself out of that, to tell you the truth. And I do a lot of meditation. Trust me, I do the half an hour in the morning. Like it's an energy programming, like from the heavens to the earth and back and forth. So I do it religiously every day, but for some reason, sometimes some days are just still tough, so that's sort of where I'm at today.
I think that's
Debbie,
important.
what comes to mind as I hear you talk is that power is not always how you feel, but it's in how you do and what you do and who you're being. And so you don't have to wait until you feel powerful to be powerful and to operate and to start taking some action in what you want to do.
Thank you. I have to digest it a little bit. Can
I interject something too?
Sure.
To share with you, my sister. Right now too, since you are in touch with the full moon, it's real sensitive time right now. The full moon, so we just breathe and bathe that, cleanse yourself with that.
Yeah.
And also with the equinox coming in as well, the full moon, all those combinations, and the equinox being here, and this is the fourth day of the full moon. So you're in sync. You just said it. So you're in sync, and just release it and let go and just keep going with the flow of love.
Thank you.
Love you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The name of my song is called Stay in Peace and Not in Pieces. So stay in peace.
Man, that's good.
Thank you.
And like nobody, like it's never like a straight line up. We always have these ups and downs, emotionally and whatever. And sometimes we feel like we're doing bad when actually we're doing a lot better than we think as well. And when I say like just do the 10 minutes, I'm just saying like that's the minimum. If you don't do anything, but at least make sure you check that mark. You should do everything, but like the 10 minutes, don't miss that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because that'll keep you on track. You know, it's like right now we have maybe 16, 17 people here, but originally we started off with 30. You know what I mean? And then little by little, some people are still like, you know, they're watching the YouTube or whatever, but some people just, they're not even on that little bit of a track now, no more. Like, you know, they lose that for whatever reason. So no matter what, keep that 10 minutes going at least, because you have no excuse not to get your 10 minutes in. You know what I mean? So keep that connection and then build upon it with this and that, you know, with the exercises, with the abundance program, but don't miss the 10 minutes no matter what.
I guess the hard part, like today, I had an hour and a half conversation with the financial advisor that has a powerful part in how my money is invested and so forth. And part of me really doesn't necessarily trust the direction that they're going, but the other part doesn't really know what else to say. So that's a frustrating place to be in, you know. And put that aside, abundance is not just the money that you have invested, it's other things, but that's a piece of it that's been a little tricky for me
And
today.
then another key thing is like you can use your meditation time and your yes and no signal to really ask, what is the high and wisest for your investments? You know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
is this
I
person,
plan to do that.
is it my highest and wisest interest to work with this person or trust this person, or you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
to ask those questions and receive answers there, because one thing that was really great about this chapter on a plan of action, he really talked a lot about in the beginning of the chapter about our goals, and nobody really knows our goals. Like, psychics or whatever, other people, nobody can really tell you. Like mothers and fathers, a lot of times trying to impress upon their kids their goals for them, but those kids come with their own goals, right? They come with their own life purpose, and they come with their own skills, abilities, and talents that they have to explore and nurture. And so the same thing with these goals, like they're given to us, right? And like we are the ones that have to listen. We're the ones that only we can tell ourselves really what our goals are. Nobody else can come and say, Debbie, this is your goal for you, and you need to do this and that and that, and that we're taking our authority back. You know what I mean? We're taking our yeah, exactly, authority back and power back in life, and claiming that it's within us, and that we're listening, and we have it within us, right, to know what's in our best interest. Even when our human mind only knows but so much, and even our goals, it's saying we can't. A lot of our goals, if we just go off our top of our head and create our goals, we're making up stuff. Everything is based upon the past of what we've already seen. But when we're going into meditation and we're asking from a deeper level, like what are the goals, then we're being open and receptive to receive divine inspiration, right? Which knows way more than the surface mind knows, than our personality self knows.
Yeah, I guess the long and short of it is what I sort of said all that in that phrase of time that I was talking, was that I want to get back into asking the deeper questions in a meditative state. So thank you.
Wonderful. Lynn.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that sort of bringing up the procrastination piece of it all, which is connected to fear and everything else, like in all of these questions that everybody has. Like this book is sort of focused on money. And I know it was written 20 years ago, but like maybe it's sort of like, should we like replace money with something else? And they do a little bit later talk about just abundance in general, because the world has created money as this idol. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that like it's hard, like if we're just looking at it as money rather than sort of like sort of in the meditation process, it's like really like what is it that we're looking for in general, right? So how do you want to live your life? And what do you want to come into you? And then making those decisions. And then are you open? I guess I was looking at back to like, I think with Johanna's question about something not really coming in, but sort of connecting to what is coming into you. Are you afraid to have it come in? Sorry, I just underlined it earlier tonight. It just brought up, I was just rereading the section on the fear. And I think it's sort of that like fear of success or fear of failure, like which side of the coin do you want to be on, right? So we create stuff that sort of blocks it. It's like the procrastination, like I'm not going to get up and do my meditation today, because as much as you want it, can you handle it when it comes in? If you know what I'm saying. I'm sort of rambling on, but anyway, I go through that a little bit with my business a little bit. Like, you want it to be successful, but then, like, are you afraid of the work that's going to come in, too much work, or how are you going to handle all that? So anyway, I jumped into a huge project for myself, and that needs funding, money. And so I've been just sort of working through, like, not having fear around that, because in that fear chapter, it talks about that. Like, if we're in a state, like, actually, this quote that I got from Don Giapani, if anyone's familiar with him, he says, abundance can only appear when fear is not present. So if we're in that vibrational state of contraction and fear around whatever's happening with money, right? Do I have money? That's great, but do I have to worry about having it and what I'm going to do with it or losing it? Like, there's this whole thing around money in general. So anyway, long story short is that fear part about it, whether we have it or we don't have it, it just like correlates into that. It takes us out of the flow. So long and short is what I'm trying to do with my project is just not be afraid that the funding's not going to come in, right? The universe is open, it's possibility, anything's possible. So I'm just going to leave it open and allow for being open to receive the funding. The funding's going to come in, right? I'm not going to have any like, oh my God, it's not going to come in. I guess it was all about worry. Did we talk? I don't know if we talked about that chapter at all in the class, or maybe I missed it, but it's sort of when we're in that state of worry, if we're not going to have money, then we're not going to have money. It sort of flows in that direction, right? Where energy goes, everything flows. So anyway, so that's my state. I'm just trying to keep in the flow of, I'm going to be okay. Like, funding's going to come in, it's all going to be fine. Then the project's going to move forward, and I'm not going to be worried about this project being overwhelming or not being able to handle it. So that's kind of where I'm at with my project. Sorry for rambling on about that.
Oh, no, it's okay. Because sometimes you need to ramble or get it out in order to get the clarity to the root of what's really going on. And to me, it sounds a lot like you're getting a chance to evaluate a lot of your thoughts, ideas, or feelings around money at this point. You know what I mean? And look at different fears that you're having around money, not having enough, not having too much. You know what I mean? Both sides of the coin, and looking at, your own, which is perfect, because it's totally in alignment with everything we're doing. Because the whole preparation phase is uprooting these ideas and clarifying these ideas and clarifying our relationship to money and how we see money. Do we see it? And because the way we look at money really affects our experience of money.
Exactly. So a little bit with what's going on in the world around money, and like, who's got the money and who doesn't have the money, and is it dirty money? Like, where's it, where are we getting that from? Something that's polluting the planet.
We're shifting, like,
and all that.
Like, when you look at the abundance program, every statement takes you back to God is your source.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
And so to really work with that, right? And you really root that your relationship changes more from the external, from the effects, the world of effects, right? To cause. That God is the only cause, right? And so to understand that the source of supply, it's like, are we going to base everything on what we see on the external field? Or are we going to base it upon what we feel within ourselves and what we're experiencing, that the real source is within us, that we have this unlimited supply? We look at this principle of supply, right? And I'm working with this idea that I'm really awakening and opening up to the idea of supply. That supply isn't something I'm creating. It's already there, right? It's not even my job to create supply, but it's my job to awaken, right? To be aware, be aware of this flow, this radiation. It's my job to be aware of that supply that's in action within me and within my life. It's always there. Whether I see it or don't see it, it's there. And so the meditation and the daily practice is to get back, is to continue to dig that hole until we strike water, right? And if you dig one place, you're going to strike water. But if you're digging here, digging there, digging everywhere, you never hit water. So if you take one practice, one simple thing, and you work with it day in, day out, with the consistency, with the commitment, you strike water. And when you strike water, then you know it for yourself. And it doesn't matter what happens on the world of effects, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
you're
that's exactly it, right? I'm trying to like do that differently. Like always, I had in my mind that I had to go out and make it happen in
right.
all my other work and businesses that I had. So this time I'm not doing it like that. It's like, no, the universe is my business partner in this. And, you know, Source is going to be the business partner and help funding
Right.
this. Yeah. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. And it's, you know, I had plenty of sleepless nights along the way, but I'm moving away from that. And so now I'm feeling like, you know, it's all gonna happen, and I'm not gonna worry about it.
Right. And then also, like, you know, okay, we go back to the plan of action. Like, okay, I'm in this, like, this is my goal to have this, you know, you have this place that it's just, what is it? Say what it is.
Well, I'm developing a project, an off the
Right.
grid
But say what the
community, right?
project is.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Oh,
go ahead.
what?
The
What do
project.
you want me to say?
Say what the project is for us.
Like, what do you mean state what it is? I'm developing a project,
Right.
community, an off the grid community in
Right.
Mexico. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the goal, right? And then, so what are my
Yes.
options after the 10 minutes? What are my options, right, to reach this goal? And then to hear what your options are.
Mm-hmm.
And then listen, and then write those
Mm-hmm.
options
Mm-hmm.
down. And then you get like
Mm-hmm.
a choices of options and directions to go into to find your sourcing, to find your funding, or to do whatever for your
Right.
for your eco off-grid community.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing. And so I've been really, it's been good. So it sent me some good directions and things are flowing really well. So far,
That's
so
good.
good. Yeah.
Right. And just know that all this stuff that's coming up, it's like a lot of ideas and a lot of things for you to really look at and evaluate. And that's good. It's
Mhm,
really good stuff
mhm.
for you to don't shirk that and push that off to the side, what's going on, and what, like, everything that's coming up for you is for you to look at and to process and to, like, so that the, like we talked about last class, like, so that the mud can settle and that you can see clearly and take right action.
Mhm,
Because right now all
mhm.
the mud is up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right now.
exactly.
And
And
so
so the
can you
biggest,
wait till your
yeah,
mud settles?
right, right. I mean, I got to be patient, of course. And
Right.
you know, the fear of failure is there. Like, okay, if it doesn't come in, that's it. But you know, and taking that risk, I had to do it anyway, right? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Of course, that's not where I want that to go, you know.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. And if it's meant to be, if that's the thing, you know, it's meant
Mm-hmm.
to be. And for whatever reasons, either way, it's not even like reaching the goal. It's who you become in the process of reaching the goal,
Mm-hmm.
which is more important than the goal itself.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yeah, sure.
And, you know,
Thanks.
hopefully it helps. All right.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of time left. I'm going to get to everybody, or as much people as possible tonight. Jean just popped the video on. You're ready to say something, Jean. What's going on? You got to unmute yourself first. We can't hear you, Jean. Oh, there you go.
There you go. There you go. Thank you. Well, there's two things actually going on. It was interesting listening to everyone, and Marcy will appreciate this. So I went away this weekend to the International World Peace Sanctuary up in New York, and it was a road trip because I'm going to speak in a week about it's called Peace Week Delaware. So I'm speaking on, and I wanted to relate it to the peace poll. Pankaj, you probably know about the peace poll we have at Awakened Heart that has "May peace prevail on earth." It's a white peace poll. Well, there's 200,000 of them around the globe. So I wanted to go to the international headquarters of this and really see this beautiful place, because they've got a wonderful website. They have amazing things, peace pals and peace flags and just all kinds of things. So road trip up there, 4-hour road trip. And I get there, and actually they were closed for the weekend, but we thought we had an inn. Someone was going to, you know, take us inside, but we went on the grounds, and they're beautiful. It's you know, beautiful upstate New York grounds, but the peace, everything there was falling apart. I mean, it's 30 years old. So everything was, I was like, wow, this is interesting. You know, it was, I mean, disappointing, but you know, you're just observing everything in needing, you know, a $50,000 upgrade. I was like, So we were chatting about that. And I said, well, you know, maybe peace, maybe this was uh, 30 years ago was really present. Maybe, it was a present energy, and then things faded. It's been fading, and maybe now it's picking back up, So what is happening in the world? Are we focusing back on this? And so the discussion was, well, okay, we could put together a group, and we could come up here and we could renovate this place, and we could raise money. There's all kinds of ways we could raise money with all the organizations and things. And so the discussion was all about, oh, it's all possible. It's all doable. There's just, what's the plan? And then again, it came to, is it my plan to do? That was kind of the other thing about it. It's so important to me, but is it mine to do, to raise money for a place in New York that obviously nobody's been going to for the last 10 years, I don't think. Anyway, that was just one thought I had for you. The other thought on the way home from there, and it's kind of like Sean was talking about, seriously trusting intuition, driving south and almost out of New York into New Jersey. The tire signal came on my car, like something's wrong with your tire. And I thought, I didn't see that before. And I thought, oh, I can go to the next gas station. I can get off the next freeway exit or something. And something said, no, you get off like right now. And I just did it. I didn't question. I just zoomed over to the right lane, got off. And then I was driving around for about 4 blocks or something. Something said, pull over right now. I pulled over into a parking lot, and I had a total flat tire at that moment. I mean, I could have been on the freeway. So I really was feeling like both of those were serious listening to myself. And I think that's kind of an awareness even from this class. I feel like I'm pretty intuitive anyway, but this was just like, you can't say no. This is what you have to do right now. You're being, I didn't really hear a voice. I guess it was just a knowing, an intuition, do it now, so anyway, of course, I love the abundance part. And I also love what someone else said about, forgiving yourself if you, got off track a little bit. But I think the book's great. And I think there's a lot, it's very deep and a lot of important things in each and every chapter. So thank you for all that.
All right. Thanks, Jean. We have a few minutes left. There's a few more people I want to hear from before we go. We got Dali, we got Ajay, Denise, Ida, anybody? Ruby, you gotta make an appearance today. Somebody, anybody.
I'll talk. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for having this. Can you hear me?
Sure, yes, I hear you.
Yeah, it's been a rough week for me since our last meeting. My mom lives in Florida and I live in Atlanta, and she was hospitalized because she was complaining about some pain. And we just found out that she has ovarian cancer. So it's been tough for me, and I'll be honest, I haven't been had a chance to like process the whole thing. So, and the hardest part about it is that I can't be there in the flesh, but with this meditation, it's allowing me to be there in the spirit. And it's like I can really feel her, and I'm just connecting with myself and the spirit to send her healing. And if all of you guys can help me do that too, I really appreciate it. All right.
And and one other thing that's like when you feel that pulsation in your heart center, you can like always send that vibration, send that unconditional love, transmit it to somebody, anybody, especially people sometimes I have difficulty with, but with your mom, you can just like radiate that love and that energy. It's really powerful when you do it to somebody you can't stand. You know what I mean? Like when you got a resentment against somebody, and it helps to wash away, the resentment. So thank you for that. And we'll definitely hold you. What's your mom's name?
Her name is Annie.
Annie. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Wish the best for her.
Thank you.
Ajay.
Oh, I mean, I could, I haven't got to the chapter plan of action, so I'm actually on the goals part of things. And when I read the goals part of things, it kind of took me back to the Science of Mind days. because it talked about the unified field theory, you know what I mean? And it made me think about of the one mind that, you know what I mean, Dr. Ernest Holmes talks about and everything like that. So it kind of brought me back into the how powerful, it made me more aware again, how powerful our thoughts really are. You know what I mean? So then I started catching myself when I started going like, you know what I mean, with this crazy thought, you know what I mean? Like, whoa, come back with that, you know what I mean? Because it talked about focus. It talked about focusing your thoughts, right? And how powerful that can be. And there was one part also too in the action thing where it talked about asking. And, you know, when they put the words in like all capital letters, to me, that's like, you know, emphasis on that asking part. So then right away, it went to me like, because, you know, we've been asking, right? Every time we've been doing the yes and no and everything like that, we're asking certain questions and it's taking us deeper and deeper, layer and layer. So it made me think about that, you know, that one chapter, that one phrase I like in the Bible, you know, Matthew 7:7, that I always refer to, you know what I mean? Ask and you shall receive, you know what I mean? Seek and you shall find, knock and the door shall be open to you. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what's going on in this process. You know, I could really identify with Lynn as well too. You know what I mean? When I was also in that chapter of the fear part, you know what I mean? Mine wasn't project based, but it was more personal based. And it was like, when I saw myself in that too, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, everything was being stirred. I was caught up in the mud, feel like I'm like, you know, spinning my wheels and going nowhere in this process. You know what I mean? But then after I got that class, I was inspired by that class. Then all of a sudden I started dipping myself in the fundamental practice every day. You know what I mean? And I was only doing the 10 minutes a day. But still, that 10 minutes a day, doing it consistency, like the other brother talked about, really had a big impact. And it kind of pulled me out of the mud. You know what I mean? And now, like, I'm back on track again. My biggest strive this week was moving from a 10-minute practice to a 20-minute practice. And like, I felt like that was a big jump for me because I like the little quick dip. You know what I mean? Like go in the pool, take a quick dip, get out and go. You know what I mean? So that's how the meditation was for me. So now it's like, you know what? Now it's calling me for longer periods of time. You know what I mean? It talks about doing it twice a day. And like, I'm struggling with that still right now, you know what I mean? But at least get once a day in.
Right.
You know what I mean? To keep that consistency, like the brother talked about in the process. So that's where I'm at in the process.
That's wonderful. And, you know, and even the mud and being like, and like when I use that analogy, it's like that's also a beautiful thing because something is being stirred, you know? It's not, maybe not the most like, oh, I love being there. It's not like the most blissful state of being or anything like that, but like something's happening, like this stuff is coming up and being stirred. So that's important to stir up stuff, you know, or nothing changes, you know, like you can't change fundamentally or anything. And it's an inside job. And if stuff is being stirred up, that means something's happening, you know, and you got to go through the value, you know, you got to go through whatever process to get to the other side. And it's always peaks and valleys along the journey. You know, every day is not going to be a peak day. You know, there's going to be valleys, and that's just a part of life. There's peaks and valleys, you know, and
when I started asking the questions too, like it talked about where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like all of a sudden I had like a flashback, like I was in a college interview. You know what I mean? Because that was a question. That was a question that they used to ask back in the day. You know what I mean? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And you know what I mean? It was like in your chair. You know what I mean? And so it was like you know, it brought me into that, you know, that space all again. And it's like I really realized how important it is because half the time I'm asking the wrong question.
That's a good one, AJ, about asking the right question.
Right. Because, you know, even I was able to help somebody out at work because they were struggling with something in their life, you know what I mean? And some stuff like that. And I, you know, kind of did the whole thing is that, you know, before we always move into the why, right? Why this, why that, which that just kind of puts me in the victim stage. But why not ask the how and the what to lift me out of the mud?
Yeah, the how, that's what I've got this weekend, something I was listening to in A Course in Miracles. It said to ask how, right? Not can I have, or, you know, it was, how will I get there? How will I get what I need? Or how will I achieve? Use the how, that's good.
Yeah, and I think in addition to the how, it's also the who. Who is in my life or who will be directed in my life that will help me achieve that goal? Who can be the activator, or who could just be there, could be a missing piece, could have insight, could have input that I could be able to receive to help me move forward.
And sometimes, a lot of times, it's not going to be even somebody that's in your life. You know what I mean? People show up.
Yep.
Knock, knock. Who's there? You
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, back to asking, you shall receive.
Yeah. But the how is just the same thing as what we're doing in this chapter. Like, what are my options? You know, the what are my options leads to the how. You're asking the how. You know.
Yeah.
All right, James. What about you? What's going on with the process with you with the wealth consciousness piece?
You know, the interesting thing for me is that I always think, of course, that I have a pretty good wealth consciousness. I'm thinking through prosperity and abundance, and then you start working through these exercises, and certain things pop up, and you're like, "Wait a minute, where'd that come from?" And so last week, one of the things that popped up in terms of money and abundance was this whole sense that not so much that I don't deserve it, but I'm already good. Like I already have, like, why do I want more, or why do I need more? I already have what I need. And it's pushing through that thought and understanding is not, I don't just want more for me, but it's more so that it can be utilized as a blessing for other people, or more so I can be a conduit. And even if it is just more for me, that's okay. Like that, it's still okay. You know, I can be happy with what I have, but also have a desire to, you know, to achieve more, to acquire more, to do something with, or to do whatever with. And so that was one of the big things for me. And then this past week, I think it was a couple days ago, it was just, I don't know, you just have an off day, just one of those days where I'm just not my normal happy-go-lucky self. Things aren't all falling into place, and it was kind of weird. And I was talking to my wife. We were talking this morning, and we were talking about some different financial decisions and different things that we might do in the future. And her approach was the approach that I would normally take too, as well. If our income's going to change, let's look and see what things that we can pare down. And immediately as she's talking, I'm thinking, I don't want to take that approach, because I don't want to focus on reduction. I want to focus on increase. I want to focus on things that we can do now in terms of being able to increase income, increase abundance, versus having my total focus on, you know, reduction in spending. And I'm not saying that you have to control expenses. So I'm not saying that you don't control expenses, but it's just, what are you focused on and what are you trying to achieve? And so I would say the work is helping me it's inoculating me against some of these other thoughts that normally I would not necessarily push back against.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you, everybody. We've reached that time. So next week we'll get into managing the flow, and we'll see where the journey takes us from there. But I really appreciate each and every one of you, and for everyone to share, you know, what's going on. We all learn from each other, and every time you guys share something, I get so much from it, you know, as well. And yeah, anybody got any closing words for us as we head out?
Let's make sure we send healing thoughts to Dali's mother.
Yes. Anna.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. May the Most High bless you all.
And let's just take a moment to do that now. If everybody just tune into their heart center, right, and just imagine Dali and her mom, you know, and just radiate that love to them, and just know that this love is the greatest healer, you know, and that whatever's needed and whatever's required, it's all available, you know, and that at the root and at the center of her mom is already that divine perfect health, you know, just radiating through her. And that the hands that serve her and all the hands that are around her are, you know, the hands of God, that they're guided by this divine intelligence. And she's just in this womb or cocoon of love, and she's held in love. She's surrounded by love, and that this love just casts out all fear. That perfect love does cast out all fear. That fear cannot even reside in the house of love. All right. Thank you all. God bless. Peace.
Bless.
Much love, everybody. Peace.
Peace and
Namaste.
love, everyone.
Peace.
Stay focused.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Pankaj.
Thank you.
Bye.
Pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you.